To welcome you to the Visa Everywhere Initiative Black American Edition, where we showcase Black-founded startups in North America. These talented entrepreneurs, handpicked from the United States, will compete for a chance to win a total prize pool of $25,000. Our distinguished panel of judges, representing both the startup community and Visa, will have the challenging task of selecting the deserving winners. Leading us through this exciting journey is our esteemed host, Mikkel Thomas, a three-time Olympian and a proud member of Visa's Global and North American FinTech and Inclusive Client Partnerships team.
Hi everyone, my name is Mikkel Thomas and I will be your host for this exceptional edition of the 2023 Black American edition of the Visa Everywhere Initiative. We are excited to have you tune in today as Visa has selected an impressive cohort of startups and fintechs, all of which who are doing groundbreaking work here in North America. These companies are poised to change the world of payments and to solve the challenges of tomorrow. Now, allow me to introduce to you our esteemed judges. Michael Steele, Vice President, Sales, Global MS&A, Strategy and Operations at Visa. Chad Pollard, Vice President, Global Client Sales, Visa. Dean Miller, Inclusive Design Director, Visa. Glenn Murray, Vice President, Payment Services and Sales, Sutton Payments. Rachel Wilson, Principal, Head of Operations, Collab Capital. And Oris Fuentes, Investor at Plug and Play. We are excited to have you join us today. Next, I want to introduce to you our 5 finalists. First up, Alicia Harris of Planley. David Juma of Our Bank, Brian Zingai of Athlete Plus, Gwyneth Borden of Remint, Mitchell Jones of Lendtable. Let's give a big virtual round of applause to all of our judges and our finalists. Now, how will today work? Each of our finalists will have 4 minutes to pitch, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A with our judges. Startups will be judged on the following: solutions and pitch presentation, Visa partnership opportunities, desirability and uniqueness, feasibility of product solution, uplifts minority communities. Once all the startups have pitched, the judges will be deliberating privately to select the winner, who will receive $20,000 in prize money. For those in the audience today, your votes will decide our audience favorite winner, who will also receive $5,000 in prize money. After all of our 5 startups have pitched, a QR code with the voting page will pop up on your screen with the instructions on how to place your votes. You have 2 minutes to cast your vote, so stay ready. While our judges are deliberating later on in the show, Visa will be hosting a special keynote by Dr. Kelly Burton from Black Innovation Alliance. Now let's get to the pitches. First up, let's welcome Alicia Harris of Planley, a personalized employee benefit and well-being platform. Over to you, Alicia.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia Harris, and I'm one of the co-founders and co-CEO of Planley. Planley is a benefit utilization tool for HR and finance leaders. Planley leverages AI to recommend personalized benefits based on employee needs while also catching their life events. We integrate with many Ben-admin platforms to help streamline that special enrollment period, boost employee well-being, and their health outcomes. The problem employees are faced with today is that the average employee can experience more than 4 life events. And 50% of employees are not aware of special enrollment periods. And 50% of these employees actually do not understand their benefit options. This leads to a major missed opportunity for improving employee well-being and health outcomes, which can actually negatively affect healthcare costs and overall productivity. Just to put things in perspective, in 1 year, I had a baby. I suffer from postpartum depression. We lost a very close family friend of ours. We moved our entire family to a completely different state. And on top of that, I also missed our special enrollment deadline for our newborn, which we got a $30,000 bill in the mail 60 days later. Planley predicts life events and simplifies that special enrollment period for all employees to understand their benefit options, resulting in more inclusive and effective benefits, while also saving employers money on wasted benefits. So I want to introduce you to Christina. She is a sales executive for a high-growth technology company, and her employer offers very rich benefits. Some of her goals are to pay off debt, purchase a home, and start a family. However, some of the challenges that she is faced with is infertility. She's financially stressed, and she also suffered a death in the family. How Planley's platform works is her employer offers an incentive for her to take a dynamic assessment. Planley uses that data from her assessments, her wearable and spending data, and recommends her something like a financial service tool, while also letting her know that her employer has an adoption and bereavement program. Planley has 4 revenue streams. We charge a per employee per month subscription, and we also earn interest on cash incentives, and those funds are held in our escrow accounts. We also earn money on every debit card swipe that a user does, and Planley also charges our vendors to be on our marketplace as well. Now, what makes Planley's platform truly special is our team. We collectively have over 25 years of experience working in the human capital management and the well-being space. Planley is post-product and revenue positive. And since finishing our TechStart program, we have secured client contracts valued over $720,000 in Q1, and also got a signed agreement from one of our pilot customers to move forward with benefits with their whole organization, which is totaling a contract value of $4.5 million. Now, a partnership with Visa would help solve a major need for cash replacement and credit score modeling to help predict risk while issuing credit cards to our users. Planley's current model would also benefit from using Visa Direct APIs to help load benefit cards with ease. Just to give you an example on the distribution of funds, one of our clients will contribute $3.6 million alone in allowances, and those funds can actually move through our Visa debit cards. Through the data that we collect from our users, we can also not only generate revenue on the swipe fees, but we can also anticipate spending trends and promote products targeted to our users. So let's team up Visa to promote employee well-being together, and we can create a more accessible and equitable benefit space for all of our users. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Alicia. Now, over to our judges for the Q&A. Rachel, any questions for Alicia?
Yes, and great job, Alicia. Very much needed and love your story. I did have a question just around your sales strategy. So I know that some companies might be too small to go and have benefits under their company, and so they work through a broker. So what is the size of companies that you're going after to land these contracts, and how challenging or easy has that been for you?
Great question. We work through channel partnerships. So we actually do work with benefit brokers and actuaries to actually get us in the door for these clients. And we also, when it comes to our sales strategy, we base it off of which employers are currently offering well-being benefits. And then we also want to go based off of their open enrollment or how soon they're actually looking to implement other well-being options.
Thank you.
Awesome. Ori, any questions for Alicia?
Yes. First off, great pitch, Alicia. It was really great seeing your product in action. I would love to get a sense from you, just because there are a lot of really confidential aspects of different life events. Where on the roadmap do you see certain compliance partnerships like HIPAA? Would love to get a better sense of that.
Yes, thank you for that question. So our platform is currently HIPAA compliant. The only data that our clients, which are employers, that they can actually see is the end data. So we give organizational data. So we let them know maybe 50% of your workforce is stressed out. We don't let them know that Johnny is stressed out. The only ones who can actually see that information is the users themselves. So we just give bulk information for the organization. That way the employer has a better way to actually offer benefits within their organization.
Got it. Thank you.
Nice. Chad, any questions for Alicia?
Hey, Alicia, great presentation. So I have another question related to data and more about, you mentioned your link with artificial intelligence. Where are you kind of getting your baseline data for the health assessments, and how are you including that data to help adjust the algorithm or the programming or whatever you're using to help refine the product?
Yes, so our assessments are ongoing. So we do them throughout the year. Most health risk assessments, they are done annually with the insurance carriers, and we're doing them dynamically and ongoing. So the base of the information is actually really coming from their onboarding assessment. We have a 16 to 20 question assessment, and then our users answer that. Then we're able to recommend them benefits based on what their employer offers. Then with the well-being check-ins and the ongoing assessments that we do, we're able to prime the system, and we're also able to then make more personalized suggestions for our users based on that data.
Thank you.
How are you addressing the inclusive needs of the employees, and that when they come on the market, they're able to identify whether they're looking for wellness with a Black therapist or things of that nature?
I love that question. So on our marketplace, we actually have specific tags for women-owned companies, Black-owned companies, local companies. So it's based on the user's preference. We can recommend them benefits based on their assessment, but they can also go into our marketplace and search for benefits that they're looking for right then and there.
Thank you so much.
Great question. Glenn, do you have any questions for Alicia?
Yeah, great job, Alicia. One question around credit cards. I know that's kind of the end goal for credit cards, and currently you're doing debit, right?
We are, yes.
Yeah, so what does that credit product look like in a perfect world?
Issuing is easy. It's more streamlined for our clients, and what we're dealing with now is having debit cards that we can tag merchant categories to. We want that to also be included with the credit cards. It's just ease of use. And the reason why we want to issue credit cards is because we are finding that with the smaller companies that we can work with. We currently work with large enterprise companies, but with companies that do not have the upfront cash to actually give us a quarter of allowances, we can actually issue them. We can help with issuing credit cards, and that way they can still offer their employees well-being benefits.
Amazing presentation. Thank you so much to Alicia, Planley, and to our judges. Next up, let's welcome David Juma of Our Bank, a financial super app at the intersection of sustainability and inclusion. Over to you, David.
Hi, my name is David Juma, founder and CEO of Our Bank. Many years ago, I came to America for college. It took me weeks to open up my first bank account. It cost me $10 to cash my first paycheck. My first loan was at 24% interest. Across the world, there are billions and billions of underbanked and unbanked. Even within the United States, there is a problem. Over 20% of the population is underbanked or unbanked, and they're spending an estimated $3,000 a year on these basic financial services. What this means is that they have less money for other essentials such as rent, healthcare, education. Also, over 100 million people within the United States don't have adequate life insurance. Worcester, Massachusetts is a very good place to start. Over 22% of the population is foreign born. Over 20% are underserved. Meet Kelly. She's from Worcester, a mom, a wife with 2 kids. She doesn't have a bank account. And one of the reasons why she doesn't have that is because she lacks trust in the system. Our bank is bringing solutions to Kelly and the millions and millions of folks out there. In less than 2 minutes, she can go through appropriate, adequate KYC checks, start using our bank on her phone. She can get her paycheck up to 2 days early. She can better manage her finances. And now she can also remotely deposit checks. So she doesn't have to go to the bank account. We are very excited of what's possible with Visa. Leveraging Visa's debit cards that provides tokenization, she can now spend more securely and safely. With Visa Direct, what she can now do is send money back home to Ghana cheaper and faster. With super few weeks, months, and years, we continue to build what we need to do, which is the social capital that we need, and building the reputation that will enable us to have the appropriate economic mode. All these conversations are centered around building a more inclusive tomorrow, enabled by policy, faster payments, open banking, and more. Over the last year, we've raised over 90% of our capital from folks of color, immigrants, and women. We have over 10 plus existing partnerships, and we're building more. We see ourselves doing more with Visa into the future. Help us, join us, tell our story, and let's help Kelly and the millions and millions of people in America that are spending $3,000 on basic financial services. And let's bring it down to $1,000 by 2030 whilst being profitable. Thank you very much.
Great pitch, David. Really appreciate that. Now let's head over to our judges for the Q&A. Rachel, do you have any questions for David?
Thanks, Mikkel. Hey, David. Nice to meet you. Really loved hearing about your company. Did have a couple of questions. You had a slide that was around the ESG or 2022, 2023, maybe UN goals and metrics. Can you give me a little bit more detail as to what you're aligning with there? Are you guys B Corporation or going to be? So I'd love to just hear a little bit more about your intentions.
Absolutely. So we're going past our intentions. We're actually doing the work that needs to get done. And our intentions and our actions that we're hyper-focused on is, okay, what can digital financial inclusion do for the attainment of the 2030 SDG goals? Over 50%
of these goals are underpinned by digital financial inclusion. And we believe foundational to that conversation is equitable and inclusive sustainable payments. And so from day one, we've been part of the conversations, both locally, nationally, and internationally, about how we can build a better tomorrow and design for all around sustainable payments. So that's our foundational conversation that we're part of.
Thank you, David. Now I'm gonna hand it off to Chad. What do you have for David?
Hey, David, first off, great pitch. Really appreciate you coming with us today. My question is around your KYC process. Oftentimes when we look at the rest of the world, the US, we tend to center on credit scoring as a metric for how we take on risk within financial institutions. When you start to get outside those borders, it becomes very different. Can you talk more about your KYC process, given the fact that you're looking at various payment corridors that exist outside the US?
Yeah, so the way we think about it from a KYC, each jurisdiction is going to be different. And so as we, in the future, as we move towards a lot of the places that we're looking at, they have alternate KYC expectations. So our goal is to work with our, local partners to make sure that we build out the right KYC process for that given jurisdiction, right? So that's the first thing. Secondly, one of the things that we've talked about is the problem that we do have are structural in nature, just nationally and globally. And so our solutions need to look at the structural issues and come up with structural solutions. And so that's why for us, open finance and open banking is very key, because it's, it kind of sidesteps the issues centered around legacy underwriting for loans.
Thank you, David.
Mike, do you have anything for David?
Yeah, I do, Mikhail. What is the niche that your product is really serving?
To us, the biggest thing is we are about building trust from day one. And we believe that's why we're building it slightly differently and taking our time and being patient and being very thoughtful and being very deliberate with in terms of the organizations and institutions that we partner with. Because for us, it's not about what I do or what we do, it's about who can tell our stories. And so for us, that's why we're working with community partners that we have already, and we're looking to other community partners to help us not only build and give us feedback, but actually help us tell our story to the communities. Because folks in the communities that are historically underserved are going to trust the people they know. They don't know me or they don't know you. And so we have boots on the ground and grassroots efforts to actually build those.
Got it. Thanks, David.
Any last questions for David Ori?
Yeah, a quick one here. Thanks so much, David, for highlighting the underbanked opportunity. I think it's really amazing what you're set out to do. You mentioned educational aspects. Could you just give me one quick example of something you're going to provide the community by using your bank?
Thank you. Great question. One of the things that we're doing is centered around integrating personal financial insights from when our members actually use their debit cards. We're able to discern, actions that they're doing well, things that they're doing well, and we try to prompt them to do the right things going forward. And for those things that they're not doing well, we, leveraging AI and ML from our technology partner, we're able to guide them. So, okay, all right, maybe we should not be spending a whole lot of money, this amount of money on rent. So that's one way. Another thing that we're looking at doing is also working with our community partners to roll out in-person educational opportunities across some of these colleges that we kind of want to partner with, and also other civic organizations to have in-person, right? So between the in-person activities and the online AI and ML-enabled capabilities, we think we'll be able to do the right thing for our members.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, David and our bank, and thank you to our judges.
Thank you, everyone.
Next up, let's welcome Brian Zingai of Athlete Plus, the Brex for sports.
Hi, my name is Brian Zingai, and I'm very excited to share with you my company called Athlete Plus, which makes everyday spending more rewarding for both athletes and for fans. I am a former collegiate track and field athlete and a two-time Olympian, and have spent the last couple of years working for financial services companies such as Deloitte, AllianceBernstein, and Aon. There are 182 million college sports fans, with 81% of those fans earning just over $100,000 plus. This makes them the largest and biggest and most affluent fan base, yet brands still lack the data and the tools to effectively market to this fan base. Brands spend about $46 million annually on broad programs designed to speak to everyone, but ultimately run the risk of speaking to no one. We at Athletes Plus fix this by rewarding fans in ways that tie directly to their fandom and purchase habits that are most relevant to them and the athletes they follow the most. Fans get branded cards of their favorite team or athletes, while also providing perks that drive brand affinity and opportunities to give back to their team or athletes in automated ways through our exclusive Roundup feature. The beginning of the name, image, and likeness era in college sports has provided a way for collegiate athletes to earn additional income. Furthermore, our sports-centric financial solutions capture and enrich spending data to better form future marketing by brands and automate endorsement by athletes. We also curate exclusive content and sponsorships through athlete influencers. In this example, Mark is an athlete in LA that recently purchased a Nike dry fit shirt on Nike.com and is incentivized by Athlete Plus to share his new purchase with his fans in exchange for an automated brand deal that we pay out instantly to the athlete using Visa Direct. By partnering with Visa, we can capture and enrich merchant data and recent purchases by fans and athletes to automate how brands target fans. As you see in this demo, whether an athlete is getting paid for a brand endorsement or perhaps by a fan, we automate this and hope to do so even further by leveraging Visa's APIs, specifically that of Visa Direct. This will allow athletes to be paid faster by brands and fans and possibly allow faster peer-to-peer payments. We've signed up college athletes from 100 prominent sports programs, and we've also partnered up with 2 of the largest sports agencies in the world to have the athletes market Athlete Plus to their fan base and provide us an opportunity to reach millions of sports fans on a global scale. Our business model is very simple. We make money from interchange fees, interest, and endorsement fees from the brands, and possibly a subscription fee for our platform. We want to work with Visa because we both care about athletes, and Visa is a brand that can be trusted on a global level. As shown in the demo, we want to use Visa Direct API to move money faster to the athletes and also use the Merchant Service API to enrich transaction data. Ultimately, our mission as Athlete Plus is that we are helping to bridge the financial wealth gap, especially with athletes, by giving them the ability to earn more, bundled together with financial literacy. We believe and trust in Visa's mission, which is to uplift everyone and everywhere by being the best way to pay and be paid. We foresee a partnership down the road with Athlete Plus, just as Visa has worked with FIFA, the NFL, and the Olympics in the past. Thank you for your time, and please feel free to send us an email if you have any questions.
Thank you, Brian. What an amazing job. I wish this was around when I was an athlete. Now I'm gonna hand it off to Glenn. What do you got for Brian?
I've got a million questions, but I know I'm limited to 1, maybe 2, if I can sneak it in. Good presentation, Brian. It sounds like what I'm hearing is that this is almost a 3-tiered business. The fans with the card, the opportunity for companies for the endorsements, and then the athletes who benefit financially from it on the other end. Has there been any thought on the inclusive aspect of it? HBCUs are having a hard time raising funds right now. That's been a big issue. NIL is a great opportunity for the athletes that are in those schools to make money as well. So kind of have you thought about that aspect of it? And that's the first half of my question. And the second half is how you mentioned earlier about teaching, I think, financial literacy to the athletes and helping them. How does that work?
That is a great question. And our go-to-market strategy was always going to be focused on sort of like your HBCUs, because you have a lot of athletes in these Power 5 schools that ultimately are people of color too, but also come from backgrounds where they've never had a chance or an opportunity at learning how to handle finances. So that is an intricate part of how we want to go to the market. And our sort of hope was that Deion Sanders, who's an alum at FSU, was still at Jackson State, that would have helped us. And then for your second part of the question, we want to be able to help athletes ultimately. And once we have like the athletes on our platform, because when a fan says, I have X amount of dollars sitting on a platform for you, the athlete has to sign up on the platform to be able to access that money, right? We hope to capture athletes when they're in the freshman year, and on our platform, right, there are certain things that we do to help them with budgeting, understand how to invest as a service, right? So just teaching somebody that's 18, 19, that if you put away $15 every month into some sort of Roth IRA, by the time that you graduate, this is what this is going to look like. But we're trying to build the right type of habits to prepare them for life after sports, right? And hopefully once they're in our funnel, we're able to keep them in our funnel as they go out and get their first mortgage, their first house, some sort of insurance policy. So there are a lot of different phases that we will go through, but we've got to start with getting the fans on board first, and then we'll build down that pipeline.
Great answer, Brian. Okay, Chad, any final thoughts for Brian?
Hey, Mikkel, thanks. I do. Hey, Brian, first off, a great pitch. And look, I have a lot of friends that played sports in college, and oftentimes when they look at their likenesses being used in video games and things like that, they definitely feel a little slighted because they feel like they were a little bit too early for some of these initiatives that are coming forth now. So my question, I'm going to piggyback on the question about financial literacy. So you mentioned some of the, I guess, tools or lessons you want to teach these athletes. Is there an accountability factor to this? And what I mean by that is, let's say the athletes, receive this money and over time they're budgeting and they're investing, but are there certain stage gates, certain performance metrics you're looking for them to kind of stay within this program so they can continue to receive money? Otherwise, is there any type of action you can take to say if they're not effectively budgeting, then they were no longer, allowed to be part of this program? Have you thought about that?
We haven't put thought into that, but part of what we're doing is that we are going to partner up with a company called Zogo that's going to give them bite-sized pieces of information to just help them with the understanding. And you can't go to level 2 unless you've done level 1. So our hope is that through that, they're able to just learn and build up those right habits. In terms of trying to control how they spend, I mean, that's difficult, but we'll do as best as we can to help them nurture this sort of spending as we see how they're actually spending, make sure that they're going down the right path.
Thank you.
Thank you to our judges, and thank you, Brian of Athlete Plus. I'm excited to introduce to you Gwyneth Borden of Remint, empowering consumers to rebuild credit while resolving delinquent debt. Over to you, Gwyneth.
Hello, I'm the founder and CEO of Remint, and Remint empowers consumers to rebuild credit while resolving delinquent debt. Something that I know a bit about from personal experience. We've all seen the headlines. Americans have reached historic levels of credit card debt, and many are falling behind. Delinquencies are increasing and credit scores are decreasing among the young, low income, and people of color, cutting them off from access to assets and opportunities. For many, they're going to fall into a deep delinquency and experience something called charged off debt. This is when their credit card account's been closed and debt collectors are now calling them. Unfortunately, repaying this debt will not rebuild their credit score because it's not on an active credit card account. This is consumers like Maddie. She's a Gen Zer. She moved in with her parents during the beginning of the pandemic. She was doing fine, but unfortunately, she started to fall behind because of inflation. Maddie now has $2,500 of charged off debt, but she really wants to get in her apartment with her friends, so she needs to improve her credit score. Luckily for Maddie, Remint bought her debt. Remint buys portfolios of charged off consumer credit card debt, and we offer those consumers the opportunity to rebuild and earn new credit, a savings account, and rewards for repayment. Luckily for Maddie, since Remint bought her debt, when she scans the QR code and she goes online, she gets to see the founder's story to understand how Remint is different. She can also validate her debt when she logs in. She has options. She can make a payment plan, indicate a hardship, or dispute her debt. Additionally, she can set a payment plan at any cadence that she likes, weekly, biweekly, monthly. She can do as little as $10. and she can choose peer-to-peer payments. So Maddie clearly is going to go ahead and make a payment so she can move on. As she makes that payment, she'll see her Remint Visa card that she's working toward and her credit score and what she needs to do to grow it. She'll also see whatever she has in her savings account, what she's working to have when she's fully repaid her debt. She can also manage her finances, attaching all her banking accounts. She can make plans to repay her debt. She can also do a budget and set alerts. And she can join our community in Discord, where we're programming with financial experts and peers. We know that Remint is needed because we have generated a wait list from social media ads with consumers who've indicated the creditors for which they have charged off debt. And in our conversation with more than 200 consumers with charged off debt, they've indicated that being able to rebuild their credit was the number one reason they'd fully repay their debt. Additionally, the friction in the lack of payment flexibility in terms of payment plans and options was a big point of contention. Charged off debt is typically a $20 billion plus annual marketplace and growing, and debt is extremely cheap. We buy debt for pennies on the dollar, but in order for people to remit, they have to pay 75 to 100% of their debt, so our profit margins are in the thousands of percent, which is how we can extend credit on the other side to these consumers, because our goal is to grow with them over time, reaching them when they're undistressed, when they have their debt, and then growing with them when they earn their credit when they fully repaid their debt. We are excited to partner with Visa to launch our program. Visa is the most accepted credit card in the world, and we think there's a great opportunity to partner because Visa has the same values that we do, incorporating the peer-to-peer payments, making it easy and frictionless for young people who don't bank with traditional banks to be able to make payments, providing financial literacy to consumers to help them on that path to a better financial future, and also even partnering with Visa issuers around resolving their delinquent debt and creating lifetime customer values out of customers they traditionally would lose. We look forward to working with Remint to help consumers like Maddie get on a path to a better financial future. There's a huge opportunity to help these young distressed consumers, provide them the financial literacy, the community, and the tools that they need to become great stewards of credit to grow with Remint and Visa over the time. I hope you'll join me on our battle to get millions of Americans remitted to a better financial future.
Thank you so much, Gwyneth. That is an amazing pitch. Now let's head over to our judges. Dee, do you have any questions for Gwyneth?
Hey, great pitch, Gwyneth. I like the idea of Remit. Could you elaborate currently? I know you said you did some work on social media, but really understanding how have you segmented the people within your target market that you're going after to better understand from an inclusion perspective who you'll be helping and addressing?
Yeah, so overwhelmingly, those with charged off debt are young, low income, and people of color. That's just the actual statistics of debt. And right now you can see with the delinquencies increasing that it's definitely that demographic that's having it the most. Our first few states we're going to start in are Georgia, Virginia, and Michigan, all three states where have a large African-American population specifically that's been struggling with these sort of challenges and trending on Google Trends and looking for solutions.
Thank you.
All right, over to you, Glenn. Do you have any questions, Gwyneth?
Yeah, Gwyneth, great presentation. Very interesting product. You're combining debt collection with credit building almost and kind of merging the two. So there's kind of a conversion of those two. Tell me a little bit about the credit side of this, because I saw the app where you list the credit score and the Visa card. Are you looking at issuing a credit product to these people? And then at what point do you issue it at? Is it once the debt is 100% repaid? Is it a percentage that they have to pay? How are you doing the carrot to get people to keep paying?
Yeah, so the novel approach is that if they opt into a 100% repayment program over time or pay one lump sum payment of 75% or more, we actually open a credit profile at that moment, so a creditor trade line, but they don't actually have available credit until they've fully repaid their debt. When they are paying it off, we also give them 1% cashback rewards because we want to help motivate them along the way and help them build savings. But the way that it works when they fully repay their debt and they have credit available is at 50% of the value of the debt that they repaid, and it would be initially a charge card. The idea is to grow with them over time.
Thank you.
Great answer. Now let's pass it over to Mike. Do you have any questions, Gwyneth?
Yeah, I do. And Gwyneth, great presentation. I love how you use Reminted, I think, to close out the presentation. I picked up on that. Great job. Hey, I just want to pick up. My question is actually about the profit model. I didn't hear much about that, so I would love to you to really spend some time talking about that. But quickly, on the back of Glenn's question, is the idea, if I don't, my credit's I jam my credit up from my past, is it you take somebody like me, help me pay off any debt that's been passed on, and then introduce me to a new credit card product after everything has been paid up? Is that kind of in the end the solution that you're trying to solve for? But then also make sure you hit the profitability question that I had as well.
Yeah, ours are different because we're buying a single debt of yours. We're buying portfolios from credit unions or banks for pennies on the dollar. As I mentioned, debt is very cheap right now. You can buy debt for 2.5 cents on the dollar. In order to get the credit product, you have to pay 75 to 100%. So I buy your $1,000 debts for $25, but you still owe me $1,000, which is how the profit margins are quite generous. Debt collection in general has profit margins between 71 to 83%. We expect our gross profit margins to be right within that window, and our net to be around 60%. Most people don't realize how profitable debt collection is. Excuse me, but we're also creating lifetime customer value, because once those people fully repay their debt, then they become credit card holders, which we grow with them over time. But part of the overall program is that they're making those payments. We are also providing financial literacy. We have a community. We provide financial literacy content. We also provide them programs to join. They also can attach all of their banking accounts and manage their finances through us. We report in their credit score so they can track and drill down on their credit score. The whole idea is giving people the full tools that they need. In fact, in that planning, they can actually make plans to repay all their other debts, because we are only handling a single debt. We do know from our research that typically people have more than one charged off debt. And so, future products look at how we deal with that. But in the short term, it's really helping them on one debt, that sort of snowball method of repaying debt. You start with one, and then you can start to build from there.
Thank you so much, Gwyneth. And thank you so much again to our judges. Next up, let's welcome Mitchell Jones of Lendtable. Cash advance for your 401k match. Over to you, Mitchell.
Hi, my name is Mitchell, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Lendtable. We help you get your full 401k match and ESPP if you can't afford to get it on your own. And we've raised about $35 million today from some awesome investors. Before my time at Lendtable, I was a fintech product manager at Facebook, helping make digital wallets for cash economies and so that people can send money to their friends and family. Before that, I was a cybersecurity product manager at Dropbox. But what I want to really talk about today is about the problem we're solving at Lendtable. $50 billion goes unused in 401k match and ESPP benefits every single year. That means that 1 in 5 people aren't getting their 401k match, and 2 in 5 people aren't getting their employee stock purchase plan. You might be wondering, why are people letting this free money go down the drain? Well, it's not because people don't care about it. It is very difficult for employees to both simultaneously max out their benefits while also still covering their daily expenses, meaning they choose to cover their daily expenses instead. Here's where Lendtable comes in and can help. Lendtable gives those employees the money they need to keep their income steady while they contribute to their ESPP and 401k match. Our pricing is simple. We work directly with employees. We take 20% of the match money they earn and a $10 monthly fee. That means we only win if our customers win. Our product is very, very simple. All you have to do is contribute to your 401k and ESPP, verify your contributions with us. We'll send you money every month to keep you whole in your income. And then you pay us back when you leave your employer, and hopefully you'll use it at the next one. Now, you might be wondering, oh, well, this sounds great, but how does this actually work out for the customer? Well, let's look at a customer. Clara works at Visa. She makes $80,000 a year, and she's currently paying off her student loans. She's not using her Visa 401k match. And since Visa matches $2 for every dollar she contributes, she's losing on out to $8,000. So here's how Lendtable can help her. When Clara contributes $4,000 to her 401k match, Visa will put in $8,000. When she leaves Visa, she'll keep 80% of her match, or $6,400. That's including all of our fees and taxes. So what that means is that Clara's not only making $6,400 today, 401ks return at about 7%, meaning that in 10 years, she'll have about $13,000. And that's why customers absolutely love us. We have thousands of glowing 5-star reviews, and we have helped our customers save $5 million for their retirement. We're not stopping here though, and Visa, we would love to have on the journey with us. I want to introduce Lendtable Card. Customer pain point that's very, very large for us right now is that customers want their money fast. And currently, we send everything out on an ACH, which takes 3 days to clear. Imagine if we could give them a Lendtable charge card. That means that they would get their money instantly and build credit. And there's a lot of value for Visa too. Visa currently has no access to the $60 billion in 401k match and ESPP benefits that happen every single year, or the $300 billion of total benefits that Lendtable could disperse. Since Visa makes about 0.12% on processing, that represents an $80 to $360 million revenue opportunity for Visa every single year. But more than all the dollars and cents, the most important part is that we are all mission aligned. Lendtable's mission is to help everyone retire by 60, and we want to make sure that people still have the liquidity they need in order to do so. Visa is here to actually do that exact same thing. They want to make sure you have your liquidity, the money you need, and that you can get paid in the best way and the simplest way possible. And that's where we are perfectly aligned. My name is Mitchell, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Lendtable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mitchell. What a pitch. Now, let's head over to our judges for the Q&A. Rachel, what do you got for Mitchell?
Great job, Mitchell. Really enjoyed that, and just love the energy. I would definitely have some questions just around the go-to-market strategy. So how do the employers feel about what you're doing with their employees? What has the feedback been as you talk to them?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the question. So first and foremost, we work direct to consumer, so we work directly with the employee. However, we care a ton about how employers feel about our product. So employers love us for a couple main reasons, and this is the key takeaway. They love us because we help retain their employees. Their lowest income, minority, and gender diverse groups finally are contributing. And we also help them save on payroll. So the two I want to actually talk about the most is the first and most important one to me personally as a person of color. Men of color make about 70 cents on the dollar, and women of color make even less. They make about 63 cents on the dollar. And what that actually means is every dollar they have goes towards their liquidity or their spending money, which means they never save in the long term. That's a problem for companies like Visa, where they care a ton about diversity, and they give some of the best benefits in the country, right? A 2-for-1 match is one of the best benefits I've ever seen. So that's number one. They care about helping those employees be retained and happy. But number two, it also helps their pocket. At the end of the day, they save on payroll costs if people contribute to their 401k and ESPP. For Visa alone, since about 40% of people don't get their ESPP and 20% don't get their match, that means that there's about $127 million in payroll cost savings that Visa could get if every single one of their people not using their 401k match or ESPP actually used it. And the reason why is because for 401k matches, you actually save on payroll tax. And for ESPPs, when someone contributes, you're not actually paying them in cash, you're actually paying them in stock, which means that Visa then does not actually have to pay the payroll cost on that. So employers love us because at the end of the day, we're helping the least included people in the financial system finally save and retain. But more importantly as well, they're also saving on their payroll cost. So it's really, really important that we're aligned with all parties, not just the employees who we work directly with, but the employers love us as well.
Great answer for sure. Michael, over to you. Any questions for Mitchell?
Yeah, Mitchell, good pitch. I love the quantitative data that you poured into this. But talk about talk about the competitive landscape in this space that you're trying to attack.
Absolutely. So the first and foremost, we're at a nascent space, right? FinTech first started with banking services, started with things like earned access wage and all of these things. What we're tackling is something that's actually quite large, which is that benefits are becoming a larger and larger part of compensation. And that part of compensation is actually incredibly illiquid. So what that means is you have to pay to play. You have to put up thousands of dollars to get your match, right? You have to put up thousands of dollars to exercise your stock options, right? You have to put up thousands of dollars to get your HSA. And what we do is we're the category leader in a new space that we've so far titled Advance to Earn. You advance, our customers will earn more money.
Sounds like an amazing opportunity. Ori, over to you. Any questions?
Yeah, definitely quite a few, but for the sake of time, Mitchell, I'll just hit you with one. I'm really curious. You mentioned 5 million in benefits being used through your platform. Can you walk me through what that means in terms of your user base?
Absolutely. So we've served thousands of customers to date. Our average match amount is about $3,500, which means that the average customer has put away $5 million in benefits. Now, a couple things to highlight. That's already including our fees, which means that after everything that they are going to pay us, people have $5 million more for retirement. And that's very central to the mission, right? Personally, for me, I'm from a lower middle income background in Dayton, Ohio. My parents always told me growing up, save your money, get a good education. They never told me invest, invest, invest. So what I care a ton about and what our team cares a ton about is at the end of the day, even if people don't know every single thing they should be doing with their money, they understand free money going down the drain. And every one of those dollars that we put in a 401k today is going to get compounding interest as it grows in the stock market and gets returned. 401ks annualized grow about 7%. So that $5 million number is from the thousands of customers we've already helped. That doesn't mean it's not going to grow anymore, right? So both our base of what we've helped people get is going to continue to grow. I told you that in about 10 years, it'll roughly double. But even beyond that, right, we're going to keep helping more and more customers. So we love the thousands of customers we have, the thousands of great reviews, but we have a big mission, to get the entire United States to retire by 60. We're not on track for that right now.
Thank you so much, Mitchell, and thank you so much to our judges. Thank you to our startups for those amazing pitches. Now, audience members, scan the QR code on your screen to cast your vote for your favorite startup. The startups with the most votes will win a $5,000 prize. You have 2 minutes to cast your vote. Remember to come back and listen to our keynote presentation by Dr. Kelly Burton, who will be speaking on the power of community, innovation, and partnerships. While judges deliberate, we have a special guest. A warm welcome to Dr. Kelly Burton from the Black Innovation Alliance. Over to you, Dr. Kelly Burton.
Thank you, Mikkel. I am really humbled and grateful to be able to share some remarks with you all today. In addition to running Black Innovation Alliance, I'm in the process of writing a book on the future of American democracy, and it's got me down a bit of a rabbit hole on American history. So I thought it might be helpful to begin with a quick story to ground this conversation. In the early 1700s, smallpox raged in the colonies, particularly in Boston. And one of the most powerful people in Boston at the time was a Puritan minister by the name of Cotton Mather. And Cotton owned an enslaved African by the name of Onesimus. When a smallpox outbreak hit Boston in 1721, Cotton asked Onesimus about his experience with the disease back in Africa, given he'd been exposed to it, but had gone largely unscathed. Onesimus told Cotton that he had been protected from smallpox while in Africa by a procedure which we know as inoculation, the process by which a pathogen, once introduced to the body in a small quantity, stimulates the production of antibodies. Inoculation serves as the scientific foundation for vaccination. And I don't have to explain to anyone who has lived through the last 3 years the importance of that technology. Some would say that vaccination and the procedure of inoculation functions as humanity's greatest defense against the existential threat of global pandemics. And that technology was introduced to the Western world by an African. I begin this story because our journey as Black people in this country would have many to believe that African people and people of African descent have not contributed much to our human story and have little to offer to our future conversations around innovation. They would also like to believe that supporting Black genius is charity. But innovation lies in all corners of humanity, and it is society at large that suffers when we leave human potential on the table. At this stage of my career, I have the privilege of running Black Innovation Alliance. BIA is a national coalition of innovator support organizations, 116 of these organizations that support Black tech founders, business owners, and creative technologists. At BIA, our mission is to increase Black access to the innovation economy. At BIA, we work across 4 different core pillars: research, advocacy, capacity building, and narrative change, all for the purpose of creating the sort of ecosystem that is necessary for Black innovators and entrepreneurs to thrive. Launched in June 2020, our community of Black innovation has grown significantly. Our staff has grown from 2 to approximately 30 in about 2.5 years. We've raised north of $8 million and activated greater than 2 dozen distinct projects and initiatives. This includes several historic activations, such as the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation. We've also launched 2 distinct research reports and a policy agenda. Our work is really all operates under this broader decade of Black innovation, what we call DOBI. And our 3 big metrics around DOBI are between 2020 and 2030 to support 500 Black innovator support organizations that in turn support 1 million entrepreneurs and innovators, and to drive 1 billion in resources to the Black serving ecosystem. We're really excited about this work at BIA, and for us, this conversation around Black innovation really hovers between 2 poles. And one pole is this conversation around disparity, so that we know that Black businesses, Black-owned businesses, tend to lack access to all the things that they need in order to grow in scale. Our companies are underinvested in. Many of us are very familiar with the statistic that less than 1% of venture funding goes to Black-led businesses. We also see similar disparities on the debt side. And so when our companies, when Black-led businesses actually get access to loans, those loans tend to be lower amounts, and the interest rates likewise tend to be higher. Our businesses also lack access to the customers in the markets that they need to grow and scale. Today, less than 2% of government contracts go to Black-owned businesses. And while we don't have sufficient data from corporate America, we know that only 10% of corporate spend goes to all disadvantaged businesses, which means 90% of corporate spend goes to companies that are led by able-bodied white men. So on the one pole, we see disparity because systemic racism is real, and the challenge associated with being owned because for several hundred years, our experience was that of property. So the process from being owned to being owners, that challenge and that journey and that struggle is real. Yet on the other side, we see tremendous hope and possibility. Black women are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the nation. Black support ecosystem is growing. Black funds are launching all over the place. We are rediscovering new agency, new energy, new optimism, and new community around this conversation of business ownership. So there's been a lot of struggle. There's been survival, but there's also been achievement. According to Douglas Blackman, there's no group on this planet that has come further, faster than Black Americans. Today, Black spending power is north of $1 trillion, which is greater than most countries' GDP. So I say all that to say, supporting Black founders is not about charity, it's good business. And catering to diverse communities is good strategy. As the story of Onesimus reveals to us, innovation exists in all corners, and we have to commit to not leaving human potential on the table. So I want to say congratulations to all of the companies that have pitched today. You matter, your work matter, your businesses are already making a difference. We stand in solidarity with you and with companies like Visa who are working to ensure that Black innovation has an opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly Burton, for that interesting discussion. Now, I want to welcome back our 5 finalists and Dan Roseberry, the Global Vice President of FinTech Partnerships and Business Development at Visa, to announce today's winners. First up is going to be the audience favorite, who will receive $5,000 in cash prize. Dan, over to you.
Thanks, Mikkel. Wow, such an incredible group of entrepreneurs we saw this year. With our inclusive client partnerships team, we have a unique opportunity to display Visa's purpose in a visible and tangible way, and also helps us uncover opportunities to drive innovation and impact. The results of our special editions last year far exceeded our expectations, and this year went even further. This year, the Visa Everywhere initiative has once again opened the door to nearly 400 minority-founded startups to share their digital solutions and promote greater accessibility in the ways that we pay, save, and invest. Now, without further ado, I'm excited to announce the audience favorite. This came down to the wire, but the winner of the audience voting this year is Mitchell Jones from Lendtable. Congratulations.
Great.
All right. And now moving on to the main award, based on the results from our panel of industry-leading judges. I'll just say I was so impressed by the quality of our finalists. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner. This founder stood out both from her presentation as well as the platform that her and her team are building to help millions of credit-challenged consumers improve their financial wellness. And with that, I'm excited to announce that the winner of the Visa Everywhere initiative is Gwyneth from Remint. Congratulations to both you and Lisa.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm so excited.
Gwen, how are you feeling?
I am just so thrilled and so gratified. Thank you all for believing in the mission. There's such an enormous opportunity out there, especially with delinquencies increasing. The time could not be more important. So thank you so much to Visa for this incredible competition and spotlighting Black founders like myself. And thank you for the judges panel for seeing my vision. And I hope we partner with Visa as we bring this to life for millions. Thank you.
Absolutely. Can't wait to spend some more time with you, Gwyneth.
And also, if I could, Mitchell, how are you feeling? Our audience favorite.
Feeling great. This is a wonderful event. It's awesome to showcase so many excellent founders of color. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we get this platform to show the awesome businesses we're building, because, you know, as many people have said, this is innovation. It's not charity. And that's a beautiful part of the system that we've built. So grateful to be here, grateful to all of you, and thank you to the judges and everyone who have heard all of our pitches.
Awesome. Congratulations again, and thank you. Huge thank you to all of our judges and our finalists, and a big congratulations to our winners. Finally, thank you to you, our fantastic audience, for being a part of the 2023 Black American edition of the Visa Everywhere Initiative. Now, to all of my fintech startups out there watching us today, you are invited to apply to the Visa Everywhere Initiative Global Competition. To learn more about it, visit visa.com/everywhere initiative. I'm your host, Mikkel Thomas. Have an excellent rest of your day.